What if I told you that Lil Jeff's last moments were just leaked? Not just his last Instagram live, but something way worse, because according to new reports, there's actual audio from the moment he was on the ground fighting for his life. And if what people are saying is true, it changes everything we thought we knew, especially about his homies. See, Jeff was with people he trusted that day, but now those same people are at the center of the mystery surrounding his death. And the more you look into it, the worse it gets. This is one of the craziest stories in Chicago right now. And trust me, you're not ready for this one. Lil Jeff's last audio. Lil Jeff's name has been trending for months. And just as the hype was about to die down, another bombshell dropped. His last ever post surfaced, and fans noticed something very strange. Something that would explain how he got killed on a drill. His last ever social media post, Lil Jeff was in his car with one of his homies just vibing the music. But from the comment section, people noticed something crazy. The rapper just didn't seem like his usual self. He went out like a gangster. This, exactly how you dream of going out. If you, in that life, he died the following morning, he just changed. Clothes, commented one fan. Jeff seemed off this night, must have knew it was over. Said another. Later that night, he posted this photo on his Instagram with the caption, "One of my fave ops on life support. I pray he don't make it before I go to sleep." One fan posted a comment that seemed to raise some really serious questions. If you've seen his live last night, you'll see he's fried and don't give a... You see, Lil Jeff was really addicted to drugs. He shocked everyone during his DJ UTV appearance when he did drugs just 10 minutes into his interview.
Now I see you over there, you getting something together.
This ain't about shit. This ain't just to do something. I ain't got paid no attention.
We ain't never seen that on DJ UTV before.
There's a lot of shit I ain't never seen.
He even revealed that he was currently using a ton of drugs from ecstasy to Xanax.
I do ecstasy.
So you don't pop perks, but you snort.
I sniffed the X before too.
Okay.
I do Xan sometimes, but for my memory, so
that shit make those gold.
I be out chill on that sometimes.
Those two guys sitting next to him, Vert and Q50, are all drug addicts. Q50 even took to Instagram to brag about how he spends more than $500 on perks every day, while Vert revealed in an interview that he spends around $400 on drugs.
I don't spend like probably $400 a day, literally.
Vert is so far gone that he's often high and fast asleep during some of his interviews, and now there's even rumor that the day Jeff died, they were all high on something, from Lil Jeff having a false sense of bravado to Q50 tripping and falling. Like a clown, everything went wrong for them from the start. Even Jeff's alleged killer took to Instagram to roast the Bloodhounds for being junkies, saying, "Why would I want to hang out with Vert? That's a shorty and a goofy. I'm from Trapsy. Not 79th, not Bloodhound. What am I doing hanging with you and perk sniffing crew, dumb little boy?" And maybe the fans are onto something. Jeff might have been alive if he wasn't on them pills. But speaking of Lil Jeff's alleged killer, Trap City Rob, who has become an internet sensation, reports surfaced on Reddit showing that he had his charges downgraded from first-degree murder to a gun charge, another. Reddit post revealed that Trap City Rob was initially arrested for the Lil Jeff murder because a witness placed him at the scene when Lil Jeff died. However, the Chicago Police Department investigated and couldn't prove that he was the actual shooter, so they just dropped his murder charge and gave him a gun charge. A photo of Trap City Rob has leaked onto Reddit showing him in good shape and in good spirits. It was a relief to his growing fan base who have been anxiously waiting for news. You see, he has become so popular that he has his own subreddit called Trapsy Unk Gang, where there are more than 2,500 members calling themselves nephews.
I ain't gonna lie, Reddit be tweaking. They got his own, look, they got a group called Trap City Unk Gang.
Right.
That's the group, just the group.
Right.
Unk Gang, and his picture's on there, and then they got, look, it say 1,000, the members in there, it say 1,738 nephews.
Despite the love traps, Rob has asked Redditors to stop posting false information for clicks.
Man, I just feel like they bogus, man. Whoever started that, man, please stop doing stuff like that. Like, for real, it's like real life, though, you know? So, it's not no video game. It's not no movie, you know what I'm saying? It's reality.
Although the Redditor may have gotten some details wrong, they were on point about many other things, such as how it all started according to this Reddit post. The beef between Trap City and Bloodhound started when Lil Jeff stole Trap City Carter's chain. This is accurate, as Trap City Rob narrated how the war began and revealed that Lil Jeff used to be cool with Trap.
His dad from down here? Big J or some shit like that? Big Jeff?
Anybody you got
Also, his daddy is from down here.
yeah, fuck used to hang with them, they know what they did.
So, okay.
They know what they did.
So, okay, the Bloodhounds, yeah, y'all was cool.
Everybody that got a
That was my homie.
However, all that changed after Lil Jeff stole a chain.
Stole the chain, bro. We tried like took it. He stole my own chain.
Was that South J or something?
Nah, brother.
One of the other guys.
According to Trap City, Rob, one of his affiliates, let Lil Jeff wear his chain. However, Lil Jeff never returned the jewelry and claimed that he got into an altercation with the cops and lost it.
Let him wear the J, he come back like he got into a house when he was 12. Lying, saying he lost it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much the broke they was.
That chain would lead to events that would see dozens of teens in Chicago get killed, including Lil Jeff's close homie Lil Scoon death of Lilco Scoom just 1 month after Lil Jeff was gunned down. Another one of their top rappers and shooters also met his death on June 7th. Tragedy struck in the Chatham neighborhood at the intersection of 89th Place and Langley Avenue at around 11:50 p.m. Assyrian Hogan, alias Lil Scoom, and his 16-year-old friend Lil got into a heated argument with another individual. Words turned into threats, and in the blink of an eye, gunfire erupted when the smoke cleared. Scoom was down. His friend was wounded. Survived paramedics rushed Scoo to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but the damage was done. He didn't. Meanwhile, police spotted a suspect fleeing the scene, and a foot chase ensued. Shots were fired at officers, leading to a massive emergency response CPD SWAT, and multiple districts were called in. In the chaos, the gunman managed to escape. Lil Scoo's label issued a statement saying, "It is with great sadness that we share the loss of our artist Lil Scoo." A true creative, Scoon's passion for music was evident in the near-constant flow of songs and videos to his fans. His immense talent, ambitious vision, and quiet determination made him a one-of-one and an inspiration to so many. We will miss him dearly. Thoughts are with his family. However, days later, the true story about Lil Scoomi's death would come out, and it was one of the craziest stories of backdooring in the Chicago gang war, because it was all documented and leaked on the internet. It turns out he was set up by a girl called Nene Brooks. People were even posting alleged DMs with her showing her admitting to backdooring the Bloodhound rapper, and you already know Lil Scoom's affiliates were onto her van of 1700 called The Girl, and threatened her saying, "I just called name," talking about, "I don't know why you calling my phone. We killing you." That's why word on the street is that Lil Scoom was going to get his hair braided at his girlfriend's house, where the alleged backstabber was camping at. The girl who was doing Scoom's hair is called Journey, and it was at her crib. In one of the leaked DMs, one of the alleged shooters asks Nene where she's at, and if Scoom is at the house, the alleged shooter also tells N, "Don't let nobody know you texting me." Nye not only dropped Scoo's location, she was also updating his ops on his every move. Footage leaked, showing Scoo, Lil Journey, and N walking up to the house. N walks slowly behind everyone and is busy on her phone, with people speculating that she was busy colluding with Scoom's ops at first. After the footage was leaked, everyone thought that it was Jury who had done her boyfriend dirty. She appeared too nervous and didn't even have the keys to her own house.
I told you I have no key. I think it's on spam, but I don't have no key. Like, is you so?
According to Trench's news journey, was the Black Widow. In fact, she already had a deceased boyfriend.
School was backdoored, it's clear as day. Everybody want to talk about this girl Nene, and that Nene was on her phone and all that. That's cool now. Y'all saying that Nene, that's cool. But let's talk about Journey. Let's talk about Journey White. Let's talk about this Journey girl. This girl is a Black Widow. She already got a boyfriend. That's DOA. That's DOA.
Lil Show's girl would later go on DJ UTV and reveal that Nene had actually backdoored her boyfriend.
How did you and Nene fall out?
So really the Scoom stuff, like, it wasn't no, like, after I found out it was really her, it really wasn't.
So you believe it really was her that backdoored him, set him up?
Yes.
With this kind of evidence, Scoo's affiliates were already tracking her, with Vaughn of 1700 posting her locations and her number. They started trolling her and making obituary flyers and using her photo. All the death threats started to get serious. And now it was time to dip, turns out. Her folks wanted her out of Chicago immediately. A few hours later, she was on a flight out of Chicago, which she posted saying never coming back, according to Scoo's girl, while she was attending to the rappers. Hair Nene went to the bathroom and locked the door, where she was supposedly still coordinating with the shooters. Time passed, and Jury was getting worried, so she texted Nene asking if she was alright, and replied, saying that she just didn't feel like talking the whole time she was there doing the unthinkable. And as Scoo and Lil were leaving the crib, the shooters were waiting for them outside. Although Lil will narrowly escape death, Scoo wasn't so lucky, but it was only a matter of time. Before Lil Jeff's affiliates went after their ops in retaliation, get back for Lil Jeff and Lil Show. It all started with a cryptic post by Q50 saying, "Damn folks, my big brother, my twin, my other half, just like you said. Though this wasn't going to do nothing but make me worse, I'm done crying, though I'm just going to do what you told me to." Soon it was Lil Jeff's parents issuing threats to their son's ops taking to Facebook. He made it clear that his son's death wouldn't go unanswered, and to let it be known y'all didn't get him, he came trying to get y'all. And what happened happened. But the saga continued clear the streets. What's crazy is that while he was alive, Lil Jeff's mom encouraged him to slide on his OP in a now infamous screenshot that circulated online. Jeff himself had once posted a conversation with his mother, revealing just how deep her encouragement ran. "Go ahead, son. Your name ringing bells in the streets," she wrote, seemingly proud of the reputation her son was building by sliding on his ops. In another message, she added, "I love it sliding on them who slept in the bed with you." This was no concerned mother begging her son to leave the streets. This was a full-fledged endorsement of his thug lifestyle, and Lil Jeff was thrilled by this endorsement. He proudly shared the screenshot with the caption, "All I got to say is she watched me work that 6T woo." To him, his mother's approval wasn't just validation, it was fuel to keep sliding on his rivals well. Soon enough, the Bloodhounds had their first target, Trap City Carter, on October 20th, 2024. News outlets reported that a man had tragically lost. His life in Chicago the previous night had seen shots being left off in the city's Oakland neighborhood. By the time it was all over, a man lay bleeding on the pavement, his life slipping away with every passing second. It happened around 8:41 p.m. on South Ellis Avenue, a block that, like so many others in the city, had seen its fair share of violence. Witnesses told police that two men had approached their target, guns drawn, and fired without hesitation. The 32-year-old victim never had a chance. Within moments, the shooters had jumped into a white vehicle and disappeared into the night. Paramedics arrived quickly, rushing the victim to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but the damage was done. The victims had sustained multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and had lost too much blood despite the best efforts of the doctors. He was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. The medical examiner identified him as Chavaville Carter. Lil Jeff's affiliates couldn't hide their excitement. Over his death, they hopped on social media, where just like Lil Jeff posted cryptic messages that hinted at Carter's murder being get back for Lil Jeff's death. They wanted everyone to know that they had just murked one of their biggest ops, Q50. One of Lil Jeff's closest affiliates took to Instagram, where he posted 3 blunts and a message implying that he was done sliding because he had avenged his homie's death, Lil Scoon and Lil Bool, and feet kicked up. "Now I can get rich, I love, and miss y'all." He also captioned it, "P.S. it ain't over." And true to his words, retribution for Lil Jeff's death wasn't over. Because it was about to get a whole lot messier, because just a few days later, another person would lose their lives in the gang war. This time the victim had nothing to do with the streets. On November 2nd, what was supposed to be Trap C Carter sending off turned into yet another tragic incident in Chicago. News outlets reported a woman was shot and killed while taking part in a funeral procession for her brother. In South suburban Dixmoor, she had come to say her final goodbyes, to grieve with family, to honor the life of someone she had loved. Instead, she lost her own at exactly 12:01 p.m. Dixmoor police were called to the scene at 147th Street and Selly Avenue, where a white Jaguar SUV had crashed into a house. But the real tragedy wasn't the crash itself. It was what officers found inside the vehicle. Behind the wheel was a 34-year-old woman. Her body slumped, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She had been driving in the funeral procession, making her way from St. Mark's Church in Harvey, when the shots rang out. The same streets that had carried her brother's final journey had now become the site of her own. Paramedics rushed her to Chicago Medicine Ingalls Memorial Hospital in Harvey, fighting to keep her alive. But the damage was too severe. She was pronounced dead soon after arriving. Later, authorities identified her as Romisha Turner of Calumet Park. She was Trap City Carter's sister for Lil Jeff's affiliates. There was no line they couldn't cross trying to get revenge for their homie. And things might just get worse for Trap City, because Lil Jeff's brother was released from prison early, just months after Jeff was killed. But there is one big problem. The guys who killed his brother were once his homeboys. Matter of fact, he didn't have any beef with them. What's even more crazy is that his brothers, Ops Trap City, were also confused by the whole situation. They didn't have any beef with J Boogie, yet they understood that rules are rules. In a vlog featuring Black and Trap City affiliates, Taro and Rob Black revealed that he was locked up with J Boogie's dad, and that J Boogie grew up under the Black Disciples, meaning he was cool with Trap City.
Yeah. You know, J Boogie, like J Boogie, under, that's like shorty. Like, I was in the field in this kid. Like, this Lil Jeff brother, like, on baby. I don't know how this don't play out.
And according to Trap City Rob, J Boogie is still claiming Trap City.
They say he ain't claiming the hood still.
He Trap City. You know what I'm saying? Like, from.
That shit just all weird, bro. And you over same night blood, like you can't.
But we already know Trap City and Drill City was the same shit. Lucky and Water, like that's our family.
And since Q50 was among those who saw Lil Jeff take his last breath, you already know that they are talking about sliding for Lil Bro. The pressure to slide for Lil Jeff might start mounting, not only from fans on the internet or his fellow blood hounds, but also from himself. What most people don't know is that Jugi might secretly blame himself for his Lil Bro's death, and the reason will shock you on the DJU TV interview. J Boogie revealed that he jumped off the porch at 13.
We saw you online, you know, as soon as you got out, you snipped the perk with Q50 on. Yeah.
I'm finna snuff one right now.
What's sad is that he introduced his little bro to the street life.
Hey, so what's your relationship like with Q50? You know, we saw y'all linked up, you know.
Bleed.
What you think about Q50? That's like Lil Jeff, right-hand man.
What I think about him, what you mean? That's Lil Bleed, black, I love him.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18.
So can you tell us like who introduced you to the street life?
My brother.
Your older brother, right?
Yeah.
J Boogie's rumored revenge plot aside, there's widespread agreement on the internet that Lil Jeff's death was a blessing in disguise because he terrorized the streets of Chicago when he was alive, from harassing homeless people to killing his ops and bragging about it on social media. The dude was a
I'm taking niggas to killing school. Class start next week. You gotta at least have 2 bodies though, for I ain't coming with no, you ain't got shit, can't work with no beginners, folks.
You're not familiar with Chicago rapper Lil Jeff. This post might seem like just another cryptic message on social media, but for those who know, the meaning is clear. This was a direct shot at his rivals, a warning that if they weren't careful, they could end up like Monty and Lil Rob ever since their deaths. Lil Jeff had been dropping hints teasing the number 2 all over his socials, and for those paying attention, the message was impossible to ignore. Internet detectives did some digging, and their findings suggested that Monty and Lil Rob weren't just random victims of street violence for years. Rumors swirled that Lil Jeff had either ordered or personally carried out the hit, and the way he moved afterward only fueled those suspicions. From subtle hints in his Instagram captions to bold confessions in his music Lil, Jeff seemed to revel in the chaos he made, sure the world, and more importantly his enemies, never forgot that he had 2 more bodies to his name. It all went down on Friday, January 26, 2024, at Innovations High School, a charter school located in downtown Chicago. The victims, Robert Boston, known in the streets as Lil Rob, and Montio Williams, better known as Monty Chaos, erupted at exactly 12:30 p. Eames saw us when 2 cars sped toward the Washington train station just a short distance from the school. The moment they stopped, masked gunmen leaped out, guns drawn, and opened fire. The targets were clear, Monty and Lil Rob. Seconds later, the shooters jumped back into their cars and sped off on the pavement. Monty and Lil Rob lay motionless, bleeding out in front of their classmates high above the street. A witness standing on the train platform had captured the entire aftermath on camera, a graphic video of 2 young lives slipping away, which would later be shared online and go viral. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, but by then it was already too late. Monty and Lil Rob were transported to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where doctors could only confirm the inevitable. Both teens were pronounced dead on arrival. Lil Jeff didn't mourn. However, he didn't stay silent either. Instead, he doubled down. He threw up cryptic posts like this one. The
shit will start happening. Y'all know this by now. I went black for like a week, and poof. Gotta go after that one. Poof. I came back. Poof. Won't let them stuff.
Soon, he wouldn't hesitate to throw up the number 2 on social media any chance he got you.
You gotta at least have a 2. I'm gonna give y'all 2 minimum. I'm gonna start at 2 minimum, cause Y'all know why I'ma start at 2 minimum. Now I'm just doing it for a tradition. I'ma start at 2 minimum, man.
Lil Jeff dropped lyrics that left little to the imagination and made sure everyone knew exactly what had gone down. He even got a tattoo of 10 teardrops with 2 teardrops being connected, which according to internet detectives signified killing. 2 people in the same drill. The caption was clear: if you know, if you don't. To him it was just another day in the trenches, a deadly game where only the most ruthless survive. And in this other post, he put up a caption of 10 hats symbolizing how many people he had killed. What caught people's attention are the 2 graduation hat emojis, which according to the internet symbolized the 2 high school teens. But after his death, speculation of whether he murked the 2 teens was squashed. After cops pieced together evidence in the deaths of Monty and Lil Rob using social media posts, phone records, auto theft reports, and countless hours of surveillance footage to track down the 3 shooters, and one of them was Lil Jeff. And while he was implicated in the double murder, this next death was shocking but still didn't stop Jeff from making fun of the victim. Jeff had also made it a habit of dissing his dead ops and mocking their deaths on social media. One of them was when one of his ops was burned alive. The murder of 15-year-old Kadani Smith stands out as one of the most gruesome killings in the ongoing Chicago gang war. It wasn't just another shooting. It was a message, a display of brutality meant to send a warning to anyone who dared cross the wrong people. But for Lil Jeff, it was yet another moment to take shots at his ops while making fun of Smith's death. He took to his Instagram where he made these infamous comments about the incident.
I put y'all shorty in a trunk and set it on fire. Y'all look ain't that bad. I ain't got pissed out like that jet. Hey, burn this hell.
It happened on December 15th, 2023 at around 2:00 a.m. Chicago police and fire crews rushed to an alley after receiving reports of a vehicle engulfed in flames. Once firefighters managed to put out the flames, they opened the trunk, and what they found inside was horrifying: the charred remains of a teenage boy. The body was unrecognizable, burned beyond recognition, but forensic investigators later identified him as Kadani Smith, a 15-year-old who had gotten caught up in the dangerous world of Chicago street violence. The medical examiner's report revealed just how brutal his final moments were. He hadn't just been burned alive. No, his killers made sure he was dead before the fire even started. He had been shot multiple times. Gunshot, wounds in his neck and chest. Then, as if that wasn't enough, they stuffed his lifeless body into the trunk of a stolen car, doused it in gasoline, and set it ablaze. This wasn't a random killing. This was an execution, and for Lil Jeff to make fun of this death just goes to show that at this point he was numb to the violence around him. He was so numb to the violence that he had no problem killing women. The double murder of 2 gangsters. 25-year-old Desire Hay McGee, alias D-Money, and 19-year-old Lil Deuce, under mysterious circumstances, shocked the Chicago drill scene, according to rumors swirling around the internet. A familiar name kept coming up: Lil Jeff, because after the murders he couldn't keep it to himself. The world had to know it. All went down in the early hours of November 1st, 2023. Lil Deuce and female gangster D-Money were sitting in their parked vehicle on the 8-300 block of South Dorchester Avenue. It was supposed to be just another night in the trenches, but in the blink of an eye, everything changed. According to an eyewitness, 2 individuals crept up on the vehicle before the victims could react. The gunman opened fire, sending a hail of bullets into the car before fleeing on foot, disappearing into the darkness. It was a hit executed with precision. Lil Deuce, riddled with bullets, took several shots to the chest. Paramedics rushed him to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but it was already too late. He was pronounced dead on arrival. Dunny, on the other hand, suffered a gunshot wound to the torso. She too was transported to the same hospital fighting for her life. But she also succumbed to her injuries soon after the streets talked, and they were pointing fingers at Lil Jeff because he couldn't resist. Adding fuel to the fire shortly after the news broke, Lil Jeff took to social media, dropping cryptic messages that many believed were a blatant confession. He posted hat emojis, symbols often used to signify a body count. But what stood out was that one of the hats resembled a woman's, possibly representing Donnie while killing his ops and bragging about it on social media. Is crazy work. It takes a different kind of crazy to threaten a homeless guy with a gun record and post it on the internet. For laughs. Well, it seemed there wasn't anything out of bounds for Lil Jeff because he did just that. A video circulating the internet shows Lil Jeff's controversial interaction with a homeless dude on the street. It started off like a joke. I thought, Lil Jeff was going to show the homeless dude some love. Maybe he was trying to give back to the street or something. However, all of a sudden, LJ Jeff pulled out his blick and started threatening the guy unprovoked.
I caught me some action. Yeah, what up, Joe? How you coming? You ever seen one of these? You think you can run from this? Get your back. You can, hey, try to run. See how fat? I'll get out this car right now.